Welcome dear students to the next part on the introduction to molecular endocrinology. We'll go into the details regarding the receptors of hormones or the receptor types of hormones. And as you can see, there are three main classes: ion channel linked receptors, enzyme linked receptors, and G protein linked receptors. So, three major classes of receptors. Ion channel linked receptors are those receptors which have an ion channel or ion traveling channel linked to it. And enzyme linked receptors have a intrinsic enzymatic activity. G protein linked receptors have G protein coupled to the receptor. The G protein is nothing but a protein which has a GTP binding site. So these are the three classes of receptors. So intracellular receptors, you have extracellular receptors and intracellular receptors. So in the intracellular receptors, which includes the receptors for steroids and thyroid hormones, and they are located in the cytoplasm or the nucleus. So acts as a ligand dependent transcription factor. So it can activate or reduce the activity of a transcription region or transcription of a gene. So the hormone receptor complex binds to promoter region, thereby stimulating or inhibiting the transcription of the genes. So this is the basic structure of an intracellular receptor. It has three distinct domains. One is the amino terminus or the N-terminal end, which interacts with other components of transcription machinery. It can act for stimulation or activation. Second is the DNA binding domain, binding to specific DNA sequences. And third is the carboxy terminus or the C-terminal end, which is the ligand binding domain, which binds to the hormone. So this is a structure. You have the N-terminal end, the DNA binding region, and the hormone binding region. So the N-terminal end is the region which interacts with the transcription factors, and the hormone binding region is where the hormone, that is the ligand, binds. So the enzyme linked receptors is the second class. We have five main classes in the enzyme linked receptors by the type of effector, target, and type of linkage between the receptor and the enzyme. So these are the five different types. You have the receptor tyrosine kinase. So the receptor tyrosine kinase is the receptor which has the tyrosine kinase activity. This is the figure for that, general figure for that. You have the regulatory unit and the catalytic unit. And the tyrosine kinase linked receptor. So you'll be thinking that both of them are the same, but both of them are different, two different types. So this is tyrosine kinase linked receptor. And then you have receptor serine threonine kinase. So the active site is mainly contains serine or threonine. That's why it's called serine threonine kinase. Receptor guanylyl cyclase, histidine kinase associated receptors. So these are the five types of enzyme linked receptors. So first we'll look into receptor tyrosine kinase. So the most common type of receptor for many common protein hormones including EGF. EGF is epidermal growth factor. PDGF is platelet derived growth factor. FGF is fibroblast growth factor. And similarly. So it's all GF, like it's all growth factors. So the receptor tyrosine kinases are common for all the growth factor hormones. So we can see the common structure of all the different types of receptor tyrosine kinases. They have a tyrosine kinase domain in the cytosol region, and this is the receptor itself possesses intrinsic tyrosine kinase activity. Once the ligand binds, the receptor can dimerize and become an active tyrosine kinase. So the receptor remains monomeric in the monomeric inactive form, and when the ligand binds to the monomer, there is a tendency for the two monomers to bind together to become a dimer. And as soon as the receptor dimerizes, it becomes an active tyrosine kinase. So the process of activation leads to something called autophosphorylation or self-phosphorylation, where tyrosine is in the protein is phosphorylated to a phosphotyrosine. This increases kinase activity, and there is an increased affinity for other proteins also. Once bound, these docking proteins can become phosphorylated. So this is the example for ligand dependent autophosphorylation. So as soon as the signal molecule binds at the top, the monomeric forms come together and forms a dimer, and the dimeric forms, when they interact with each other, there is autophosphorylation of the tyrosine molecules, which causes further phosphorylation of other regions where intracellular signaling proteins can bind to it. So the docking of intracellular proteins on phosphotyrosines. So the phosphotyrosine domain acts as a binding site for many different proteins with the SH2 domains like enzymes, PLC, phospholipase C, or act as adapter molecules to bind other proteins. So the receptor tyrosine kinase is linked to a RAS protein and the MAPK cascade. So the MAPK is mitosin activated protein kinase. So once an adapter protein binds to the RPK, it attracts another protein called the RAS-GEF, and the RAS-GEF induces RAS to exchange its GDP for GTP, and the active RAS then activates MAP kinase, which phosphorylates and activates MAP kinase, which again phosphorylates and activates MAP kinase, which in turn can phosphorylate many proteins. So it's a cascade sort of system where there is continuous autophosphorylation. Phosphorylation of proteins, including transcription factors. So this is the process of activation of RAS. So this was the first structure that we saw, where the dimeric tyrosine kinase receptor has several phosphorylated tyrosines present, and this allows the binding of GRP2 adapter protein. So the function of the protein is it's an adapter protein. It adapts the binding between two molecules, that is the receptor and RAS-GF. So the RAS-GF, when it binds to the adapter protein bound on the receptor, it gets activated, and it activates the inactive RAS protein with GDP to release the GDP and take up active GTP, so that the RAS protein becomes activated and it undergoes proceeds with signal transduction. So the activation of the MAP kinase cascade by the active RAS protein, it activates the MAP kinase, which activates MAP kinase, which activates MAP kinase. MAP kinase in turn activates or phosphorylates a number of different proteins and transcription factors, which leads to changes in protein activity and changes in gene expression.